All right, welcome to Collaborating Agents, and today we are talking about using Trello in real estate. I'm Kat Williams, and I'm one of the co-hosts for Collaborating Agents. Again, welcome to using Trello in real estate. So I use Trello like a CRM, and I just like to kind of see it all in one place. My brokerage, which is eXp Realty, offers KV Core and Chime. I have not checked out Chime, or I guess it has a new name now, but I've been using Trello as a document or as a client management system. And I just prefer to see everything all at once. It allows you to stay organized. It helps you improve your communication, and it provides one place for documentation of all of your notes. And I know the other CRMs do the same thing, but we'll go through the basics of this. I like it because of the checklists as well. And just for everybody's information, I use the free version of Trello. So everything you're going to see here today is from the free version of Trello. So when you go into Trello, the first thing you're going to do is set up a new board, and we will go into my Trello account and I will share some things with you. I have a board for sellers and for buyers, but when you go into Trello, you're going to click on this create new board. And then there's my buyers and my sellers. So in my sellers, I have 3 different steps in my sellers board. I have several different cards in my board, but as far as like checklists and so forth, I have 3 different ones. We have pre and post listing appointment, process listing template, and then active listing template. And we will take a look at those. Then under my sellers, I have a seller client template. Then I have active listings and under contract. And so once they go from being a prospect, they're an active listing, we're getting ready to go live in the MLS. Then they get moved to active listings. And then once we're under contract, that client card gets moved to under contract. For my seller client template, it's pretty basic. It's just the information I collect from my client during our initial phone call. I try to get all of these questions answered in the initial phone call, and of course, walk away with an appointment for a listing presentation, or at least a meet and greet in person scheduled. This activity down here, it allows you to take notes, and you can take notes for each time that you reach out and talk to your client. Oh boy. Okay, so this is my pre-listing. Let me get rid of me here. So this is my pre-listing appointment checklist. Of course, you will want to personalize it and make sure that you have everything that is required by your state and your brokerage in the pre-listing packet. So I have set up in seller files, add contact information to places, prepare CMA docs, a net sheet, listing package, and then of course, email to confirm listing appointment and do a personalized marketing plan to bring to the appointment. So for each of my listings, I do a personalized marketing plan based on the compensation package that they choose. So post-listing appointment, update your Trello notes. Either you got it or you didn't. If they're going to sign and didn't at the appointment, send out the listing agreement and compensation agreement for signature ASAP. Should be the first thing that you do when you come back after sending them a thank you note. Then any additional information that was requested by clients. For example, I have a staging to sell guide. So if my client said, yeah, we're definitely interested in that, I would email that to them if I didn't have it with me at the listing appointment. Then send the thank you note with a gift card, whether they sign or not, do a thank you. And then if they don't sign, add your follow-up plan and SOI. And don't forget to put that in your calendar as well, so you don't forget. Then listing documents, these are the ones that are required by Ohio and my brokerage. So again, make sure you personalize this. And it just helps you keep track of every transaction so you don't miss anything. Pre-live tasks, everything that needs to physically be done before the listing goes live, and any other than documents. So I need to schedule and calendar the photography, notify my transaction coordinator, change client status, all of that stuff that physically needs to be done before a listing is live. Then I have the active listings. For every listing that I have, like I said, I come up with a personalized marketing plan. So I will move the personalized marketing plan to the active listing and then create a checklist. So that will automatically create another checklist. All right, so this is my Trello board. And again, this is the free version. So the first thing you're going to do when you go to set anything up is create a new board. You get 10 free boards with the free version. So we're looking at my sellers template. So I'll click on that. So here is the seller board and my seller template. So once you get all of your stuff set up, you will click on your seller template and do create card from template. And then we'll call our client Susie Smith. And I want to create it in the seller files list. So here now we have Susie Smith. So with Susie Smith, one of the things I wanted to show you is the labels option. So you can create labels. You can add more and you can change the colors. So for purposes of just showing you this, we're going to say she needs a pre-approval. And then when you are doing your initial call with your client, you're going to go through the forward questions and fill out all of this information as it becomes available. You can add additional information. And then down here is the notes section. So anytime I talk to my client, I put in the date. I like to put in the date because it just makes it easier for me to find. Initial contact. And then save. And then you can always come back and say, you can do edit. Client called back to schedule an appointment or just start a whole new note. So you don't need to put in the date because the date will show up right here as time goes forward. So I've created her contact card. You don't have to save. You do have to save, like when you're in your description, there's a save option, or when you do notes, there's a saved option, but you don't have to do the cards. So now that Susie has scheduled her appointment, we are ready to move over to the pre and post listing appointment. So in order to move this checklist over to Susie's file, we simply click on Susie's file and we're going to do pre-listing checklist. And there's my pre-listing checklist. And then we're going to come back and we're going to add the post listing checklist. And so now they're both here. Post listing appointment, pre-listing appointment. So then as you go through, of course, you check off all of the boxes. All of your notes are still here below. Okay. And so then you're going to do the same thing when you move to the pre-listing checklist and the active listing template checklist. And then when your listing is ready to go active, you simply just drag the card over to the active listings and you have everything right there. And then same thing when it goes under contract, you're going to add the checklist to Susie's file and then move Susie over to the under contract part. So we're in the buyer side now. So buyer's template here is very similar. This is the initial client information. There are some things that are different. Again, set this up to you. What questions do you ask? It doesn't have to necessarily be the questions I'm asking. I hope I'm recording this. Then I have pipeline. These are the people that I'm actively working with. Prospects, people who haven't really committed, and then buyer referrals is how I keep track of who I owe a referral fee to. So let's take a look at that. So here is my buyer's example board. So I have a buyer template. So anytime I get a new buyer, just like with sellers, everything is the same. Buyer files, I have my initial buyer template. And then I would, of course, label it. So we have active, under contract, or needs pre-approval. Oh, I guess coming back to the seller, that doesn't need pre-approval. It would have been pre-listing. Close that. And oops. right, let's start over. Okay, so here is my buyer's board and my buyer's template. So just like we did with the sellers, we're going to create a card from the template. So again, we'll just do Susie Smith. We're going to add her to buyer's files, create the card. And then while we're talking to Susie, we're going to get all of this information. And again, you have your labels that you can use to create your note, just like we did before. And then we've got Susie pre-approved. We found her a house and now she's under contract. So the same thing, what we're going to do is we're going to add her checklist. So we're going to put the under contract checklist, and that is added to Susie's card. And then because she is under contract, we're going to move her card, simply click and drag over to the under contract part. If you accidentally start editing your template, it's no big deal. You just have to go back in and delete all the information you put in, and then create a new card. If Susie reached out to me and she was just someone who was inquiring and she just needs to get pre-approved, then she'd get moved under pipeline. If she wasn't going to buy until next year, then I put her over here, and then I would put, this is what I do actually, 2025. And if you have a month, then, put the month down, or fall 2025, something like that. Over here on my to-do list is just stuff for following up with pipeline and prospect. It has nothing to do with someone who's under contract. And then buyer referrals, as I said in the presentation, this is where I keep track of all of my referral fees and who I owe them to. So that's it. I know it was short, but it's pretty easy to use once you get in the swing of it. And if you have any questions, go ahead and post your question in the Collaborating Agents page. And of course, remember, if you want the collaboration aspect that follows the presentation, you need to be present for the call. Everybody take care.